A bit of aviation history was made today when Iberia flight IB347 flew from Madrid to Boston. Well, nothing remarkable about that, you say? Well, there was, because it was an Airbus A321XLR. Not exactly the most sexy name, but it's the Airbus single-aisle narrow body, the XLR. It flies further and more efficient, fuel efficient than the alternatives. With nearly 5,000-mile range, it can go all the way from London to Vancouver, but it is a narrow-bodied. And that narrow single aisle means changes on board for passengers and staff. Meal courses, for example, on the Iberia flight, all served at once. Some passengers don't really like flying transatlantic in a single-aisle aircraft. Of course, the 707 used to be all like that. Iberia's Chief Executive and Chairman Marco Sansavini is with me now. Sir, it's good to see you. I'm grateful to you. Congratulations on the 321. Look, we've been flying single-aisles across the Atlantic for 15, 20 years, 757, etc., etc. What's different and special about this one?
It is radically different, Richard, and great pleasure to be with you today. First of all, from an efficiency point of view, of course, it's a new generation aircraft, so it allows to do very efficiently this kind of trajectory. But at the same time, and more importantly, in terms of the customer experience, it is absolutely comparable with a wide-body aircraft. Basically, through the range that it has, it allows basically to reach destinations that with a wide-body aircraft we could be able to reach, but of course with a much smaller size.
You see, that's a challenge in a sense, because yes, it can do it. I get it, it can do it. But, the traditional 75 and the 321LR would do East Coast US, West Coast Europe. But now with these 9, 10, longer flights on a narrow body, do you think passengers are going to go for it?
Yeah, well, but first of all, you have to consider as well that the range of these aircraft is bigger. In fact, it's 15% more than any range of a narrow body. So it allows routes that were impossible to reach with former generation of narrow body aircrafts. And secondly, the configuration that we have designed for these aircraft allows to have a customer experience that is absolutely comparable with the one of a wide body.
What's the longest run? I know you've done proving routes in Europe, and I know that you've done this route. What's the longest you're going to run this thing?
Well, in fact, the potential of these aircraft in kilometers, and forgive me for that, is around 7,500 kilometers. That means around 4,000 and some more miles. It implies, for instance, that because I think that the most significant impact is really for consumers. Look, we used to fly to Washington only in the summer and only 4 weekly frequencies. Now, thanks to this XLR 321, we're capable to fly daily in the summer and even in the winter. So in terms of opportunities that it opens up for consumers is massive, the change. But at the same time, I think even more critically, as you were stressing, is the customer experience. Just to give you an example, the traditional configuration of a business class row is 1-to-1 on a wide-body aircraft. And in that aircraft is 1-1. So every single business class seat has aisle access and full flat beds. So it's really a unique experience in this respect.
I want to talk about, in the last couple of minutes we've got, Iberia. Look, you've been the great turnaround of IAG, in a sense, over the last 5, 10 years under Luis Garjalejo, extraordinary turnaround. But where are you going to grow? You are now the southern hub, in a sense, for IAG. And that means expanding the reach into Central and Latin America in the future, doesn't it?
Yeah, and I think what you see is that Iberia, like the IAG group, is emerging from COVID even stronger. And in fact, our leadership position with the Madrid hub to Latin America is now established in a manner that we are the leading carrier between Europe and Latin America. And just to give you a sense of that, we are already 17% bigger than pre-COVID. I think this is the result of not only the transformation that you were saying, but also the fact that through COVID, we could basically have all our teams on board. We could avoid to dismiss anybody. So through the efforts of our teams, we're already, when demand came back, to be the first ones, or among the first ones, to rebuild capacity.
You didn't. I know this is above your pay grade at one level. This is at the board level, but I'm gonna throw it at you anyway. You didn't get Air Europa. Good try. You didn't get it. So tap Portugal. Is that where your sights are set? I might as well try it.
Well, in fact, you see, Air Europa was not an objective in itself, was a mean to allow basically to build Madrid as a leading European hub. And that mean and that ambition remains untouched, because simply now we're using the other two main leverages we have to pursue it, which is on one side our organic growth and on the other side the partnership. I mean, I was mentioning that we grew already 17% versus 2019, and also this XLR is a great opportunity. We're bringing 8 of these aircrafts in our fleet. So our path towards building Madrid as a leading hub in Europe continues.
We'll leave the question of tap Portugal to another day, sir. I'm grateful to you. Look forward to talking to you at the end. Thank you very much indeed.